Hey guys, this is Aiden from Monochrome EDC, and today we have a very special knife to review. This will probably be my first review on this channel. This is CKF Custom Knife Factory Evolution 2.0 or Evo 2.0. I don't know how many of these they made, but mine is 157. Yep. Made by CKF in Russia. I know there's full customs out there. I don't think I'll ever be able to get my hands on the full custom Evolution, but I can only dream about it, I guess. Even this, I got it as a gift, so I've been carrying it, using it. I've had it for about 6 months, so definitely used it quite a bit and carried a bit too. There's some scuffs and scratches, but I'm never gonna really sell it or trade it, so that's that. All right, so for the spec, this knife comes in 3.5-inch blade with 4.5-inch handle, 3.25-inch cutting edge, and 8-inch overall. It's definitely not a small knife, but it's not a huge knife either. I have a medium to large size or large glove size hand, so this fits really nicely in my hand. My pinky doesn't really run off the edge of the scale, so in this grip is pretty nice and secure, but the choked up grip for me is just melts in my hand. This is a great grip to use this knife. This is definitely my preferred way. And yeah, so with the design, I really like, so in knives I just my preferred look of the knife is something like this, or let's see, here's my Strider SMG, my new Koenig Arius. As you can see, I like all the knives with forward finger choils. It's just my preferred way of just gripping knives and using it, and so I just really like any knives with forward finger choils like these. I also really enjoy external stopping pin. I think it's just a personal preference for me, but I just like the look of it, and I like the idea of just having more stability with it, side to side. I know Arius comes in with it's got like the internal stopping pin, but yeah, we'll get to that on the next video. All right, so back to Evo. Let's see, this knife weighs 5.2 ounces, so it's not a lightweight knife. It's not a pocket break either. I think this is a pretty decent weight for the size, for an 8-inch knife. Let's see. All right, and hardware is, I mean, we'll get back to we'll get back to the pivot later, but it's got a huge T20 pivot, T8 the lock bar insert screw, or lock face, yeah, and then the T10 for rest of the body screws, and then the clip screw. Yep. And the material, the blade is in M390, so it's nice and rust resistant. I wouldn't really worry about this knife rusting on me, even though I live in East Coast. Yeah, I mean, I don't know really what to say about M390. That's CKF heat treats. I've used this knife, but I don't own too many knives in M390, so I can't, it's really difficult for me to do like a comparison video when it comes to like how the edge holds up. A lot of the times I ruin the edge by hitting like some other metal or some just harder material while I'm cutting, and that'll just, you know, have like small chips or yeah, on the blade. So I do sharpen my knives quite often, but because I like to just keep all my knives just razor sharp. I don't really like having like the working edge on knives. I just like them just super fine. So yeah, that's that. Rest of the material, so handles made of full titanium. There's a zirconium backspacer, and CKF calls this dark tie, but I am pretty certain this is zircotie, which is titanium Damascus with zirconium, some zirconium added to it. It's got the same zircotie or dark tie pivot collar. It's really hard to notice it, but it's there. The color is pretty subtle. It's just really dark purple, I would say. I know it's harder to show it on the camera, but yeah. So for the carry, oh wait, before the carry, let's move on to the action. Super smooth action. It's a finger guillotine. Drop shut, very nice. Came out of the factory like this. I did take this thing apart once, but I don't know if I'll be able to take it apart again. I'll explain that later. The action's really good. The centering's really nice. It's got no side to side or up and down blade play. Even in lock position, I can't really move it that much thanks to the multi-row bearing system. Yeah, and for the detent, it's I know a lot of people complain CKFs like medium to light detent. Compared to a lot of other companies out there having like the stronger, just stickier detent than this. But I think this is perfect for me. I prefer slightly like a lighter, like just medium to light detent, because I usually go for like my preferred way of opening knives is just reverse flicking it or spider flick, middle finger flick, whatever, you know, what have you. But my preferred way is reverse flicking it, and then this knife works perfectly for that with this detent. You can also thumb flick it, and it works pretty good. It's nice and quick opening, just because how smooth this the knife is. Runs on ceramic bearing detent. Yep, there's really no complaint about detent for me. Also has the this comes in with the detent system or detent ball with the full engaged or sunk into the detent hole. I'll try my best to show it on the camera here. I'll move the Hank out of the way. All right. So as you can see, this ceramic ball bearing, when it engages or sinks into the detent hole that's on the blade, this ball sinks in all the way. There is just no space in between the lock bar and the blade. It just the ball just sinks in all the way, creating that stickier detent. But with the slightly lighter lock bar pressure, I think it works perfect for this knife. I will talk about, so Koenig Arius does the same thing. It's got that full, I guess the detent ball is like fully engaged with the hole, but this definitely has stronger lock bar pressure. But it works out for it. I'll have like a comparison video of these two. I just haven't had this for too long, so I can't really make a review on it. But maybe I'll do some comparison because these two knives are very similar. For let's see. This is TW Price Dawn, OEM by Best Tech, and I'm just gonna talk about the detent here real quick. The ball doesn't really sink in all the way, but this one also has, just like Arius, a very strong lock bar pressure. So creating not too tight detent, but it's a good amount. But yeah, there's just some just, yeah, chatting about the detent hole and then the detent engagement. Let's see. Okay, so for the action, did we do size comparison? All right, here's a real quick size comparison. Sorry, I missed it. Here's a 940. I know like a lot of you guys will probably have had one or currently do own one. So I thought it was a good size comparison between that. And here's a Spyderco Shaman. I know this is another very popular knife among the collector or enthusiasts. So, yep. The Benchmade 940 comes in a 3.5 inch blade. I don't really know what the overall size is. I'll have to do my separate review for that, but it's a similar length as a 940. And with Shaman coming just slightly over. So it's just like kind of in the middle of that. Let's see. I'll just move these knives out of the way for now. I'd say this is the perfect size for me, at least for an EDC, just daily carry. Okay, so for carry, the ergonomic on this, just amazing. For the clip, not so much. It's got a huge clip, and it's also not a very deep carry. I mean, it's deep enough for most people, I'd say. If you're into like so super deep carry, I wouldn't really recommend this, but it's just gonna stick out a lot, especially with this huge clip outside your pocket. Yeah, so I mean, I don't really mind it. Some people do. Also, the clip is all nice and contoured and chamfered up, so just all the edges are knocked off, so it feels really good in the hand. No complaints there. But when it comes to carry, it's just it's a little meh, I'd say. All right, so finishing works. CKF did a great job on this with all these, I guess you could call it like a bark pattern finish. It's really nice and slick. It's not very like textury, or you don't really like get a lot of grip from this texture, but I think it's really like nice and smooth. Feels good in the hand. The handle is nice and contoured. Good work on the chamfering all the way around the handle, and then the lock bar as well. Feels really good and for your thumb when you release the knife. The blade on this jimping is slightly rough. I mean, these are huge jimpings. I don't know how I feel about it. I think they look good, but I don't know. They're just all right. They are a little sharp on the corners of these jimpings, but they definitely do lock your thumb in when you put some pressure on it. All right, so let's see. Okay, so internal millings. Where's my flashlight? So for internal, comes to internal milling, CKF definitely did a good job on that as well. Nice and deep internal millings on the show size scale. And then for the lock side, they milled out the other half, and then they even milled out the lock bar as well. So definitely a lot of the weight relief there. They even milled out the back spacer as well. So that's a nice touch. If it wasn't this heavily milled inside, I'm sure this knife would have weighed like almost close to 7 ounces or something like that. So I do appreciate their internal milling work. Yep, the knife is the hand rub satin. I know there's 2 other versions of this Evo 2.0. There's the carbon fiber show size scale. I think it's like a marble carbon fiber scale, and then with the belt satin. There's that version with just like all tie, just regular tie hardware, pocket clip, no pivot collar. And then there's just a plain Jane, just like a raw titanium with the same like a bark pattern, but just all like a raw tie finish. And then yeah, rest of the tie and the same bell satin as a carbon fiber one. This one do come in a hand rub satin. I don't know how I really feel about it. I would have preferred the just regular belt satin because they look beautiful on those other two models. This one, I mean, since it's my user, I do notice some like scratches. I mean, I know all the hand rub satin finish do scratch off pretty easily. I don't know if I can really show you. I know there's just few scratches, you know, here and there. I don't mind it. I mean, this is a keeper for me and a user, so. All right, so for uses, this is a slightly more dressier knife when it comes to the same model. This is like a dressier version, but I wouldn't really call this a dress knife. This is more of a, it's like a dressier work knife. I also wouldn't really call this a like super hard use either because of how thin behind the edges. This has a really nice and deep hollow grind. It's got pretty thick stock, but it just comes down to really nice and thin edge because of this deep hollow grind, which I really do enjoy when it comes to just opening up packages and then breaking down boxes and things like that. I recently moved, so I did cut open, or I did break down lots of cardboard boxes with this, and it just worked fantastic with it. All right, so for sharpening, I mean, I've sharpened this like twice ever since I got it. I've had it for 6 months. I sharpened it once with my KME, and then now I'm like recently I got into freehand sharpening, so I did put on like those whetstone edge on it. I think it came fine. I think I did all right with it. Not like a perfect or anything, but it was just super easy to sharpen. It's got a big belly. There's no like rough corners or anything. Like it's not like those Tanto or some other like design where it's just a bit more difficult to sharpen towards the tip. But this one's just all belly, super easy to sharpen, nice, and like I had a good control with it. And then also because how thin behind the edge is, just you don't have a lot of material to shave off, so it was just really it was a pleasure to sharpen this knife for sure. So moving on to the value. Okay, I think these models started at like $600 when it dropped. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, but when it dropped, it was like around $600 or $650. I'd say with that price, I think is a pretty good value. But I mean, obviously they don't make these anymore. So I mean, if you really want one, you can buy these secondary. But it's gonna cost you a lot of money on the secondary. I know these usually go for over $1,000. So at that price point, I don't know if I can really recommend it. It's still a great, like, amazing knife. It's my favorite knife so far, but I still don't know if I'll really buy it at that price on the secondary. But yeah, I got it as a gift, so you know, didn't have to spend a dime on it. It's my user, keeper, never sell or trade it. All right, so conclusion, there's a lot of goods. There's some slight bads that I'll talk about. And like I said on the previously, just all the goods, just, you know, good milling, good fit and finish, nice and centered blade. CKF definitely does like a really good job. They do a really good job when it comes to all their like fit and finish works. And nice and deep hollow grind, thin behind the edge, great slicer and all that. Just ergonomic dream. And perfect size for my medium to large glove size hand. All right, so the bed. Let's talk about the pivot. So this has this huge T20 pivot screw, and then this side, nothing. This is not a captive pivot. So this is free spinning. So once, if you try, if this pivot is like Loctited or in any way, you try to unscrew it from this side. Obviously you can't really do anything. So you try to unscrew it and then this will just start free spinning. So it come out of the factory with no like Loctite or anything. So when I was playing with it at first, when I first got it and used it a bit, I noticed the pivot came a little loose, so I tightened back up. And then after a little more use, it just started coming off again. And then, well, I had to like take it apart, get all the gunks out, clean the inside and all that, and lube the bearings and detent and all that. But when I put it back together, I did put blue Loctite, and I don't know how I'm gonna take this apart. And I'm not gonna send it back to Russia, to CKF, to have them like, I don't know, take my knife apart and just send it back to me in pieces. I'm probably not gonna do that, but I don't really know how I'm gonna take this apart again, now that it's been Loctited, because it doesn't have a captive pivot. And that's just, I think that's the big miss there by CKF, or I don't know, rotten design, that to not add the another the cutout for the torque screw. And yeah, I mean that's like one big bad for me. Other than that, I mean the carries are right. It's not a deep carry, so but I don't really care. It does have huge clip though. I guess that's one little gripe for me. The clip is a little too big. I don't know why they made it that big, but I mean it works fine. It feels great in the hand. And then there's just the pivot. The rest of the knife, I just love it. This is my favorite knife. I know I've been saying that a lot, but it'll definitely remain in my collection. I'm not gonna sell or trade it. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave any comment or your thoughts on this knife. Let me know if you own one, or if you're just like looking for one or anything. I would love to talk to you guys on the comment section. And please check out my Instagram page. And yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.